Hello, I'm Dick.
And I'm Eric, and we're the Annuity guys.
Eric, we've talked about interest rates going up since 2012.
At least that, yeah.
And it was a sure thing back in 2012.
Oh, it was happening. It was going to happen.
Oh, yes. And there hasn't been a month or a 6-month period that's went by that...
It's precipitous. It's just sitting there. It's the tipping point. We're almost there. You know, we got a bump.
Well, once we get to 6.5%, unemployment. I mean, employment.
The unemployment rate's now down to
almost
4.9.
Yeah, 4.9.
So, but we're still no. We don't want to make another big increase because we've got this global economy now that we have to take care of. Aunt Janet, she's got everybody's best interest in man. Just patient. Be patient. We'll get to those higher rates. We really will.
Well, it's China, it's oil, it's global depression.
Yeah. And the thing is, now if you look at the entire world economy, we're not talking about just low interest rates. We're talking about negative interest rates. I thought zero really was as low as we could go.
Mm-hmm. And so did a lot of others.
Yeah. I'll be the first to tell you, I think I was wrong. There's potential that in this country, we could actually see negative interest rates at some point in time.
Well, and Eric, this literally could carry on for a decade.
Oh, yeah.
And who's prepared for that in terms of retirees? I mean, retirees did the right thing their entire life. Folks, you did the right thing by saving your money and preparing for retirement. And, most retirees just don't want to be in the market with a large portion of their money.
The volatility is making people so uncomfortable.
Right.
And you have so many people talking about being on a tipping point there, or again, we're back nearing the high point of the market earlier. We saw a 10% drop earlier. That made a lot of people that had just retired uncomfortable with being in the market.
Sure.
So they're chasing yield. They're looking. They're looking at the banks. Banks, help me. Help me.
What are bank rates?
Yeah, go away. Take your money back to the market.
Yeah. I mean, they're talking about charging people, and some people are being charged in their checking accounts. They don't realize, they're just got their money sitting there, and it's costing them money.
Exactly.
So, really, Eric, we come down to folks turn to annuities a lot because it's one of the few places you can go and get anywhere from 2 to 6 times what a bank pays.
Exactly. I mean, if you're looking for comparable maturities, if you look at the annuity world, you're getting a better yield on your money. Now, we always say, when you look at the safer options out there, annuities are one of the safer options.
Yes, they are.
And if you're looking for something to do now, looking at even laddering in maturities, you can look at putting some in for a 3 or a 5 or a 7 year or 9, laddering those maturities so you have a little bit coming due at different time periods to take advantage of if the rates do change. Now, we don't know which way they're going to go.
Yeah, they could go down.
We always thought, you're going to take advantage of the increasing maturities over time.
But you might be glad you locked in at 3%, which nobody gets excited about.
Right.
But Eric, one of the things that folks really have to consider, and we talk with folks about when we're going through planning, and that is what's it costing you to leave this money in cash waiting for something? Because once the interest rates do start going up, if it's set there for 5 years or however many years, you've got to make up for all of that lost opportunity costs on that money. So you're better off to get it working somewhere.
Right. And people don't realize that you're oftentimes losing to inflation, for one.
Sure.
The cost of just your everyday
you're going
expenses.
Backwards.
You're going backwards by staying in just a zero rate environment. Inaction has a cost.
It does.
I mean, people always think, I have the potential for loss. Well, why don't you take an option that doesn't have a potential for loss but has a potential for gain perhaps and replace that. And yet, you keep on saying, I'm going to buy in when the market's low. If everybody had that perfect crystal ball and said, you know what, I don't buy when the market's high, I only buy when it's low, and they could do that perfectly and get out when it was high.
There'd be no need for banks or annuities.
Exactly. The fact is, as consumers, most people just always bet wrong. There's studies out there that show
the Dalbar
studies. Emotion comes too much into play. I think annuities do a great job of helping taking some of that emotion out. If you want to participate in the market but don't want to lose anything, you've got the option of indexed annuities where it give you a portion of the upside return without having the risk on, at least on the fixed index side. no risk to the bottom side.
Yes.
Those are options I think you need to start looking at for your portfolio. Obviously, it all gets back to part of the plan. Planning is key. Knowing what those dollars are going to be used
Yes.
for. Yeah, your short-term dollars that you're going to spend for your income in the next year or two.
Sure.
Yeah, having those in cash, no problem at all. But stuff that you're going to use for retirement 10, 20 years down the road, it's got to get working for you.
Exactly.
Someplace.
Well, and this is where, Eric, so many folks do turn to some portion of their portfolio with annuities, especially for the income portion, and sometimes just for a safer portion that has some reasonable growth potential that really balances their portfolio. And they can do this with immediate annuities. They can do it with fixed annuities, like you've talked about, but also the fixed indexed annuities, which do give them some of that potential, that upside potential, where you're not actually invested in the market, but you do have the benefit of some of the gains as the result of a well-performing market.
Yeah, so I would say for those folks that are out there saying, all right, I'm waiting for the rates to rise, don't wait too long, because you could be waiting a lifetime.